Hi. So today we're going to be making some vegan brownies. They are super good. They are absolutely 100% kid approved, and they're actually also pretty easy. So we're going to start out. You will need a food scale, and we're just going to start by putting our bowl on the scale, and then we're going to just measure most of the dry ingredients directly into this bowl. So we want to start out by using some flour. We want 300 grams of flour. I also find it fabulously interesting to see how many grams are in a cup, but maybe I'm just a dork like that. All right, so we want 300 grams of flour. Then we also want, we want 50 grams of baking chocolate in powder form. So I always use this one. It's the dark cocoa, and it has a better flavor. It's more deep, it's more dark, and it also has a higher iron content than just a traditional baking cocoa. So we want to go ahead and tear out your scale again so that we can make sure we're measuring in 50 grams. Almost there. So it looks like about a little more than a quarter of a cup. Okay. And then we also want to put in a teaspoon of baking powder. I make sure it's a generous teaspoon. It seems to help in our higher altitude here. And then, oh, I forgot the salt. We have to put salt. So you want to put in another teaspoon of salt. And I always just have the pink salt on hand. It's a good source of some trace minerals. So then we're just going to mix this up, make sure everything is nice and incorporated. Okay. Then, once we're satisfied with everything looking pretty uniform in here, we're going to add in some ground flaxseed. So we want a tablespoon of that. So the flaxseed is ground. It's not the whole flaxseed. Flax seeds are a great source of alpha linoleic acid, which is one of the essential fatty acids that is necessary for our brain health. It also helps to lower inflammation in the body and has a whole bunch of other benefits. So we'll mix that in. Cat is mad today, sorry about that. And then once that looks like it's all mixed in, we will add 300 milliliters of whatever kind of plant milk you like. I have almond here. Started to pour it too fast without tearing it back up. A little bit extra. So 300 milliliters looks like it's about a cup and a half. And actually, if I remember right, yeah. Okay, so you have about a cup and a half of your almond milk. Normally when I buy the almond milk, I buy the unsweetened plain one. It's a little more versatile. This is one that the kids really like. We use on cereal and stuff. It has a higher calorie content, has some sugar in it because it is sweetened. When you use the unsweetened almond milk, it's going to bring your overall calorie content for that recipe down because it doesn't have the added sugar in it. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. This is real vanilla extract, not the imitation. And that's it for our wet ingredients. Then we also have over here, I have melted a quarter cup of a plant-based butter. I use this one. It works very, very, very nice for cooking and baking. So I've used that one. And then there's also 170 grams of chocolate. So those are melted together on the stove. And then, because there's no eggs in here, you don't have to worry about it cooking the eggs, right? And you just put all that in, and then we'll mix it all up. Okay. So mix, mix, mix. It's a lot of chocolate in here. These are very, very yummy brownies. And again, I'm seeing our super dry New Mexico flour. It's usually not quite so dry. I guess I'm gonna have to start making some notes to myself that during the summer months, it seems like we need a little more liquid. So I'm gonna put in another 1/4 cup of the almond milk. That'll bring us up to 1 3/4 cups. We need to be able to spread the brownies in the pan. All right, there, that's looking better. Good, so everything is nice and incorporated. We don't want any flour lumps, so just kind of make sure it's as smooth as possible. The dough is gonna be not the kind that you pour into a pan like a cake, but this one you do spread it around. So it is a little bit of a thicker dough. Okay, so then we have our pan. Just your regular cooking pan. We want to make sure that we spray it with some cooking spray. And I like to use the coconut or the olive oil cooking spray. It's just my personal preference. There's nothing magic about it. And then we are just going to put the dough, the batter, into our pan. And then we get to put some toppings on it before we bake it. So you can see how that's kind of thicker. It makes a nice gooey brownie. Put it in here like so. See how nice that looks? And then we spread it around so it's nice and even in our pan. There we go. So then I also have 35 grams of walnuts here. These are just walnut halves. You can leave them halved, or you can kind of crunch them up a little bit. They break pretty easy. Walnuts are another good source of our essential fatty acids that are needed for our heart and our brain health. And since walnuts aren't especially popular in my family, I'm only going to put it on half of the brownies. Then we have another 35 grams of our chocolate. Oh, this is the chocolate I was using. So it's 62% dark. It does have soy in it instead of butter and milk solids. And you sprinkle a couple of those on top. And these just kind of make a nice topping. And then, once you are satisfied with how it looks on top, we're just going to pop it into the oven. Oven temperature 350, and we are going to bake it 20 to 25 minutes generally. And that's going to depend on how you want the brownies to come out. If you want them still a little bit soft and kind of gooey, you know, that nice warm brownie, then 20 to 25 minutes is good. If you want them more dry, like a cake brownie, you would want to cook it a little bit longer. All right, and that's our vegan chocolate brownies. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me directly. Let me know, and we'll pop in next week with a new video. Have a great week.